4 weeks ago, 227 people were getting ready to leave Kuala Lumpur. Over the next 24 hours, some would say goodbye to their families. Others would look forward to saying hello again to theirs. Some were here in Asia on business. Some were on holiday. The other 12 were Malaysia Airlines crew. Flying around the world was their job. In 24 hours, they'd be getting ready for just another shift at work. It was anything but. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. A city content to quietly thrive as its continental neighbours, Singapore, Hong Kong, Shanghai, hog the limelight. For 27 days, this aspirational city has been the reluctant centre of the world.
Malaysia, like many Asian nations, is a proud country, but that can make it seem sometimes as though it's scared to admit its own mistakes. Well, this past month, in full view of the world, it has had to grow up. Its government has been scrutinised and questioned by outsiders, but also by its own people. They have been judged, not as usual by their own standards, but by everybody else's.
There's too much incompetence for it to be incompetence, if that makes any sense. You know, I honestly believe that there is active deception going on. I'm just not clear on quite who.
At times, the Malaysian people haven't known who to believe, the conspiracy theorists or the clear-thinking realists, the critical foreign media or the tame domestic press. National corporations have bought advertising space on billboards alongside the highways into town. Food for thought on the morning rush hour. Shoppers continue to hang their tags of sympathy outside the city's swanky malls. A temporary pause for reflection before resuming their march towards the boulevards of designer boutiques, having done their bit. Of course, what none of them say is the one thing that has gone through everybody's mind. This was a routine flight on a respected international airline. Who hasn't thought, I'm just glad it wasn't me? For almost 4 weeks now, the families of the 239 people on board flight MH370 have waited longingly for news. Mostly from hotel rooms in Beijing or Kuala Lumpur, paid for by Malaysian Airlines. Instead of returning to the painful familiarities of the homes they shared with the now missing, these have been bubbles of hope and desperation. Purgatory on planet Earth. Sometimes a haven from the prying eyes of the media, at other times macabre theatres of inconsolable grief.
Most days the relatives were briefed by officials from either the airline or from the Malaysian government as to the latest in the investigation. We in the media, and there were thousands gathered here in the first few weeks, would have to wait until later in the afternoon often for the daily press conference. The relatives would also be watching that live, streamed into their hotel. It was the first time that we would find out about the latest. It was often, as well, the first time the families would find out about the latest in the investigation. That night that the Prime Minister came here for a hastily arranged press conference and told the world that Inmarsat, the British satellite company, had tracked the plane into the southern Indian Ocean, it was a shock to us. But for the relatives watching in their hotel, it was the first time they had heard that tragic news as well.
And some of these are people who I've worked with in the past.
Some have kept their counsel, choosing to endure the past month in private. Others have found comfort in the arms of strangers, the reassuring messages of support or condolence posted on Twitter, Facebook, Weibo and the like. Many have willingly exposed themselves to the very naked experience of television interviews, allowing us to watch their heartache in full HD.
I do not believe the plane has crashed. I have yet to find any expert who I've talked to that off record has said that they believe the plane has crashed. Everybody believes it's been taken.
By believing that Philip might still be alive somewhere, you potentially are putting yourself in a position where the worst is yet to come.
That could be. But I don't even consider it a question. I absolutely believe he's still alive. I still feel his presence. I am not a metaphysical weirdo. I'm a very grounded, practical, logical thinking person, but I still feel him in the same way I have always felt him. That has not changed.
For some, the media attention will have been an unforgiving experience. Nothing but a rude intrusion into a life-changing turn of events that you'd wish on no one.
Each relative has their own reasons for wanting to give interviews to the media. Some have told me they just simply find it therapeutic. Others want to tell the world about how great their loved one is, how much they miss them. And then, of course, there's a group who use the media as a microphone to amplify their anger, their sheer frustration that 4 weeks on, nothing has been found yet.
A group of Chinese relatives have done that with great effect. They don't represent the majority, let's be clear about that. But no one can deny them their emotions. In such a situation, anger and grief are never far apart. The Malaysian government has had to listen and act, like it or not.
I've always been consistent in saying to the family members, my only problem is giving them answer to the question that they really want to know, which is where their loved ones and the MH370 is.
They have marched on the Malaysian embassy in Beijing. Such a protest in the Chinese capital is almost unheard of. And eventually, fed up of not getting the answers they want, they flew to Kuala Lumpur in search of the truth. We travelled with them.
The main purpose of our journey is to demand evidence and truth for our loved ones. We are here to see how it goes step by step. Because in Beijing, we're totally desperate. There's nothing coming out of Beijing.
On landing, they held another demonstration. One person on board MH370 has been the subject of attention more than any other, and most of that attention has been suspicion. That person, of course, is Zahari Ahmed Shah, the plane's captain. Did he bring it down? Was his marriage in trouble? Could that have been a motive? Friends have rushed to his defence, painting a profile of a professional man who loved his job and loved his family.
He's a very loving family man.
Going through some troubles, it's been reported.
I don't think so. Because I've seen photos of the family, which was quite recent. If I'm not mistaken, middle of last year, or towards the September or so. They look like a typical happily married couple, with a good family, a grandson. He has a grandson.
There's been a lot of rumour that he had very strong political beliefs, that his marriage was breaking down, that maybe he had extreme religious views. Any of that true in your opinion?
Don't believe in rumours. To me, he's innocent until proven guilty. And he's not around to defend himself.
How about a possible political connection? Was Captain Zahari a radical? It has been a theory that has done the rounds. He is a supporter of the opposition party in Malaysia. He knew well the controversial opposition leader who told me that the government played up their connection in a politically motivated act of skullduggery.
We have called for parliamentary select committee to be formed immediately, because from our point of view, the Malaysian international image has been just devastated. I think the Malaysian government need to learn that they have to be more transparent.
To their friends and family, the 239 missing are real people, and their characters have been lost along with them. To the investigators, though, they are just 239 random names whose backgrounds need to be checked out. Why were they flying to Beijing? Did they have any motive to bring down the plane or to hijack it? But the Royal Malaysian Police has announced that none of the passengers are under investigation anymore. The crew remain suspects, though.
239 people missing, 14 different nationalities, 6 of them Australians, from the country coordinating the search effort. The Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak has flown to Perth to meet his counterpart Tony Abbott, and the air crews flying gruelling daily missions.
I know that until we find a plane, many families cannot start to grieve. I cannot imagine what they must be going through. But I can promise them that we will not give up.
For the first time in the investigation, the tone is changing to downplay expectations. All the search teams need is one stroke of luck. The disappearance of MH370 continues to fascinate, and whatever the conclusion of this extraordinary mystery, if indeed there is one, the 239 missing will live long in the memories of many. Eventually, maybe, there will be a need for something more permanent to remember them by. Malaysia puts its history on full view, whether it be bad or good. MH370 is already a part of that. But all in time, because for now, whilst the plane might still be missing, all is not lost. Alistair Bunkall, Sky News, Kuala Lumpur.